Welcome to the Imperfectly Empowered podcast with leading DIY lifestyle blogger ahnafulmer, where women are inspired with authentic stories and practical strategies to reclaim their hearts and homes by empowering transformation, one imperfect day at a time.
Welcome back to the Imperfectly Empowered podcast. I am your host, ahnafulmer. Today, we're going to talk about 10 mistakes you need to avoid when renovating a kitchen to stretch your dollars and create a beautiful kitchen packed with practicality. They say the kitchen is the heart of a home. It's a haven to create food, culinary delights, to be able to enjoy them with friends and family, to make new memories, to remember old ones, to engage in meaningful conversations, to laugh until you cry, or maybe cry until you can laugh. The kitchen truly becomes the memoir of a home, or the heart of a home. And it's consequently why it is the primary selling point. So we're going to talk about 10 mistakes that you need to avoid when renovating your home's primary selling point. Now, for those of you who are new around here, my husband and I, as a side hustle, have renovated several fixer-upper homes. At the time of this recording, in fact, we are about to put our third fixer-upper. We call this one the French Country Cottage. It's a super cute little house, but we are going to put this one on the market in a couple months. We're wrapping up the basement and invest in a rental property. And then we're going to actually live in our own rental property until we build our forever home. But I have done kitchens slightly differently each time, depending on the needs of the kitchen and the fixer-upper and where we're allocating money. But I just want you to understand, I have renovated several kitchens for the benefit of this podcast. And I've also helped other people design their own. So mistake number one when renovating a kitchen is delaying your dream design. Most of us do not have hundreds of thousands of dollars in our kitchen renovation budget, but this does not necessarily mean that you need to delay your dream design. Work smarter, not harder. But before you embark on renovating your kitchen, make a list of the top 10 things your dream kitchen would include. Choose 3 and make them happen. One of the things that I see time and time again is that, women are trying to be frugal when they're doing a budget renovation. And I completely understand that. But you guys, a kitchen is where you spend the majority of your time. Really, men and women, everybody, this is the heart of your home. If there are certain things that you really want to see happen, be creative, do your research. It does not need to be all or nothing. And we are going to expand on some of those budget-friendly ideas that may enable you to get your dream design for half the amount of dollars. Mistake number 2, keeping your old cabinets. I have said this to many, many women when they ask me for ideas on renovating their kitchen and they're trying to make their old cabinetry work. Again, I understand the desire to save dollars, but if you're renovating your kitchen and you're living in the dust and the dirt anyway, hang in there because I'm going to give you ways that you can get all new cabinetry for half of the price. Okay. Mistake number 2 is keeping your old cabinets. Kitchen cabinet refacing has become a popular alternative to gutting the old cabinetry and starting over, but I feel that this often contributes to mistake number 1, which is delaying your dream design. Okay, don't settle, especially if this is going to be your forever home. Guys, just don't keep your old cabinets. Get rid of them. It's really not as crazy as it sounds. And the fact is, when you compare the price tags, many people choose to put up with a layout they don't love to give their kitchen a coat of lip gloss instead of a professional makeover, when in reality, you might be able to get that makeover for half the price that you think it will cost. So with some research and a lot of planning, you may be able to get closer to that dream design than you think by getting rid of your old cabinets. 2 of our fixer-uppers, I completely gutted the kitchen and put in new cabinets. And then fixer-upper number 2, I gave them that coat of lip gloss. I refinished them myself. They were hardwood, so it was a little easier to refinish them. But the thing is, we have and will profit very well on all 3 homes. So if it's a flip that you're looking at doing, I would just be judicious. Like if it's an investment house, don't necessarily overspend where you don't need to. But again, in general, If you spend the money wisely in the kitchen, you will very likely make it back, if not profit on it. Also, a note on work zones. So there's another podcast called Design Your Kitchen Around These 4 Work Zones. All right. You want to design an efficient kitchen around work zones, not the classic triangle. The other advantage to putting in new cabinetry is that you can actually design your cabinets around work zones. If you have not listened to that podcast, you definitely want to check it out. But that's the other advantage to putting in new cabinetry. You can design them around the work zones. Okay. So you're thinking, yep, this would be great. But remember that thing called money. Well, what if I said that you could buy brand new solid wood kitchen cabinets with soft close doors and drawers for half of what you think you might pay? Keep listening. Mistake number 3, waiting to organize your cabinets. All right, listen, here's what happens. You're renovating your kitchen and installing new cabinetry. You have allowed someone else to design the layout with input from you here and there, but ultimately, you trust that your current kitchen inventory and day-to-day flow will work within this newly designed space. But what happens when you realize you can't fit all of your most frequently used dinnerware into the cabinet above your dishwasher, or the garage for small appliances only comfortably fits your mixer, but not the blender you use to make your family smoothies every morning, or maybe the toaster that you use for breakfast every morning, or your baking ingredients fit better in the cabinet on the other side of your prep zone. Again, make sure that you read all about or listen to the designing kitchen work zones. You can also read all of this on the show notes as well on my blog. The point is this: you will be more satisfied with your new kitchen if you stage the cabinets before they are installed. Get out a pencil and a paper or the professional design draft that you've been given, and make sure you take a full inventory of your current kitchen cabinets and organize that inventory into your cabinets on paper. It does not have to be fancy, guys, just useful. Just useful. Pay attention to the size of the cabinets and compare them to what you are currently using. For example, if your current lower cabinet that holds your bakeware is 18 inches wide, but you are sick of having to take 5 things out in order to access the correct baking sheet, then make sure your new plans include a lower cabinet that is 21 to 24 inches wide and is the right size for bakeware dividers or pegboard organizers. Okay. Organize your new kitchen cabinets before they are finalized to make sure that they will hold everything you currently use and that they are appropriately designed to fit your needs. Take some time to think through this. Another little tip is just consider investing in a little project binder to organize your renovation. This is true of any renovation that you're doing. But make sure you go through your inventory, because no designer that I know actually empties out your cabinets and goes through all of your inventory and puts them into the new cabinets on paper. So make sure, again, work smarter, not harder. All right. Mistake number 4, planning for bigger instead of better. All right. This is kind of like a quality over quantity type of a conversation that we're having here. Maybe you are building a new house and you want to design your dream kitchen with 2 islands, 2 sinks, an industrial sized refrigerator, and enough square footage to host your entire neighborhood, plus the football team. All right, listen, if that is your plan and you are literally going to host your neighborhood or the football team twice a week, then this is probably the best option for you. But I have been in these kitchens, and let me just say, do you know how many steps it takes to walk around 2 islands? Or how many minutes add up walking half a mile to put your dishes away each night? I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but honestly, like the multiple kitchens, well, there's that too, but multiple, kitchen islands, and just make sure that you are not necessarily planning for bigger instead of better. Okay. I'm a firm believer in quality over quantity. And the reality is, instead of trying to make the footprint of your kitchen bigger, consider replacing your, current cabinetry with upper cabinets that reach to the ceiling, and then trim them out with crown molding. All right. You'll gain storage space and will visually make your kitchen look bigger when you take it to the ceiling. White cabinets as opposed to darker cabinets will also give the illusion of added space. I know a lot of times we want a bigger kitchen, but it just may not be possible based on your current home layout. There are other ways to maximize storage space and make it feel bigger. But again, quality over quantity. Now, this is another reason that you need to listen to the podcast on designing an efficient kitchen around work zones, because this is another way that you can maximize your space. All right, is by planning the cabinetry around work zones. Sometimes bigger is better, but just be careful that you are stepping out the space that you're designing. If your new kitchen dimensions are significantly bigger than what you've ever had, it's important to also find someone's kitchen that is a little closer in size and imagine your layout in that space. Do you really need it that big if you are planning an open layout anyway? What else could you take that extra money and put it on? It may even check off another dream item from your list. So just remember, bigger is not inherently better, and depending on what your dream items are, just make sure that you're not, sacrificing those dream items when maybe you don't necessarily need to spend the money on a bigger space. Save time. Get practical inspiration delivered to your inbox every month with exclusive access to the premier digital women's health and home magazine. For just $14.99 a month, you will get delicious and nutritious recipes, essential cleaning and organization hacks, must-have product recommendations, helpful fashion ideas, practical DIY tutorials, creative fun for kids, home decor inspiration, stress-free entertaining tips, evidence-based health and wellness advice, productivity challenges with prizes, exclusive access to upcoming and perfectly empowered podcast guests, and exclusive access to bonus printables and templates on podcast show notes, giveaways, and so much more with this exclusive membership, the Imperfectly Empowered Journal. Reclaim your heart and home with a digital health and home magazine full of practical strategies you can actually use. Want to try an issue for free? Visit www.hammersandhugs.com and click on the Imperfectly Empowered Journal tab to sign up for a free issue of the Imperfectly Empowered Journal today. Number 5, overspending on appliances. Guys, you can save thousands of dollars on appliances. I mean, thousands of dollars. There are outlets online. You can just search appliance outlets near me, scratch and dent appliances. There are discounted appliance companies all over the country. I've been using a scratch and dent store here locally. I live in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and I will give them a shout out here because they are just an amazing family-owned business. It's K&A Appliances. K&A Appliances. Happily give them a shout out here. Recommend them to any of you locally or really anybody here in Eastern Pennsylvania. A lot of times these scratch and dent stores, they are often family owned. They're smaller stores. And like I said, a good way to find one is just simply open Google and search scratch and dent appliance stores near me. Okay, here's the deal. If a big box store gets a stove that has a dent in the side of it because it was, ruined during shipping, they cannot place it in their inventory at full price because it is considered blemish. This is where the scratch and dent market comes in. So what will happen is these scratch and dent stores will buy up this damaged inventory. But the thing is, I've been buying from scratch and dents for years for all of our fixer uppers. And first of all, a lot of times the scratch and dents are on the sides of the cabinets that are hidden by either a wall or, of the appliances that are hidden by a wall or another cabinet anyway. Or here's a hack that you may not know about. Even if there is a scratch, now a dent you can't necessarily fix, but if there is a scratch on the face of an appliance, all you need is an appliance marker. Did you know that this is a thing? There are appliance markers. There are stainless steel appliance markers. There are white appliance markers. There's black appliance markers. They are the easiest way to touch up a brand new scratch and dent appliance that happens to have a scratch on the front of it. And you guys, you can also use this on your own current appliances if you just want to touch them up a little bit. You can save thousands of dollars on these appliances. Compare deals in your area and don't forget to consider if they include warranties. That's a huge one. Just because they're scratch and dent does not mean they don't include warranties. K&A, if I recall, I think they have a 13-month warranty on most of their appliances. And then they also offer repairs. So again, scratch and dent stores, you can save thousands of dollars. Mistake number 6, buying retail instead of wholesale. Now, this is a slightly different concept than scratch and dent. Let's break this down a little bit. Retail instead of wholesale is mistake number 6. So this does kind of tie into the previous mistake of overspending on appliances. And again, unless you have money to burn or you are building a new home with the understanding that you're not trying to cut costs in the kitchen, which I understand this when we build our forever home, I've joked that the kitchen alone may equal what we pay for the rest of the house. Not quite, but maybe. Maybe my husband's going to raise his eyebrows when he hears that. But, the truth is, I'm possibly talking to two different types of homeowners. So again, just apply what you need to your current situation. So if, your dream item is, brand new and needs to be retail instead of wholesale, then make sure that you check off that dream item. But for the majority of people, buying wholesale is the best option. If you're a DIYer or if you're trying to renovate a kitchen on a budget, you need to buy wholesale. Really quick, you're saying, Anna, what is the difference? How do I know if something is retail versus wholesale? So let me give you an example of this, because where this really comes into play is kitchen cabinetry. Floors actually are a good one to talk about here too, but let's just talk about the cabinets. I'm a cabinet maker, so I am, in technical terms, the producer of these cabinets. I sell the cabinet to a big box store that I will leave nameless at wholesale price. Okay. The producer, the maker of the cabinet, sells them to the big box store at wholesale price because they bought them from me in bulk. That big box store will then upcharge my cabinets and sell them to the consumer at a retail price, right? They add that extra percentage on because the big box stores need to make money too. But what you want to look for is a cabinet company that sells their cabinets at that wholesale price. So you're basically taking out the retailer and you are buying from a wholesaler. Now, they will not have as many options, but you may be pleasantly surprised how many options they do actually have. Now, I'm going to brag on my very, very favorite wholesale kitchen cabinetry company. I have used them multiple times. I am using them actually for all of the cabinetry in our forever house, except for the kitchen. It will be everything except for the kitchen. The kitchen's going to be the only place that is custom cabinetry. It is called Lily Ann Cabinets. Now, again, these links will all be on the show notes on my blog at hammersandhugs.com. And you can also look through some of the kitchens that I have renovated using their cabinetry. You'll find solid wooden cabinetry in a variety of options for half the price, painted or stained with accessories, pull up trash cans, cabinet dividers. You can also buy these for bathrooms. There's so many ways that you can get creative with these wholesale cabinets. And Lillian also offers free design services. So you can easily send them the dimensions of your current kitchen. They will help you for free. They will help you design your kitchen using their cabinetry line. Now, a company like Lillian, I can't speak for many others because I'm a huge fan of Lillian cabinets. These are ready to assemble. So if you are looking to build some sweat equity, this is a very easy way to do so. There are two options. So the very first kitchen that we renovated was an old Victorian built in the 1890s. Not a single stinking level floor in the place. Outrageous. We didn't know what we were doing, but I have to say I'm very proud of my first ever kitchen makeover, not knowing what on earth I was doing. That kitchen was actually pretty awesome. And it sold that house, that and the little craft room that I made in the dungeon-like basement. The owner specifically said that those two areas sold the house for her. The buyer, I said owner, the buyer. But the bottom line is the very first kitchen, I built the cabinets myself. They are not hard. It is very simple instructions. You need a little bit of sweat equity, maybe a power drill, a hammer. But if you have time and you want to save a bunch of money, put them together yourself. That's called ready to assemble. Here's the super cool thing though. Lillian also offers assembled wholesale cabinetry. This current fixer-upper that I am filming in at the time of this recording, I did already assembled. I had been there, done that. This was our third fixer-upper. I did not feel like assembling the cabinets myself. I still saved thousands of dollars on this kitchen. And gosh, I'm actually trying to remember. I think if I'm recalling the bill for this kitchen, and this is my favorite one yet of the three fixer uppers, I think I only spent about $8,000, if even that, on the cabinets. I don't even think it was that much. It might have even been less than that. And they were already assembled. So again, the point is you can either assemble them yourself or you can buy them already assembled, but look for a wholesaler. Lily Ann Cabinets. Make sure you visit the show notes at hammersandhugs.com and be sure to check out Lily Ann Cabinets and our kitchens that we used their cabinets for. Mistake number 7, too little lighting. So as I understand it, lighting falls into 3 categories: ambient lighting, task lighting, and accent lighting. So let's talk about these a little bit. Ambient lighting is what you use when the sun goes down. So this would be your chandelier over the kitchen table or the pendants hanging above your island. Unless you live by Scrooge's motto that darkness is cheap and you like it that way, typically ambient light is the first switch you turn on when walking into a room. We don't usually forget to design this one, right? Unless we live like Scrooge. The second category is task lighting, which is pretty self-explanatory. This is the light that you use for specific tasks that does not necessarily need to be on all the time. This would be the pendant hanging above the sink that you might turn on to get a closer look at that pot you've been scrubbing for the last 20 minutes and still doesn't look clean. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. Mine never look like the commercials. They just like pour the soap on and zoop, it's clean. Never happens to me. This could be the light mounted under a cabinet that illuminates your kitchen desk or a particular workspace, but doesn't necessarily need to be on all the time. Even canned ceiling lights on a dimmer switch could function as task lighting or accent lighting, depending on the moment. Guys, this is a little hack for you. It is super easy to convert any kitchen light to a dimmer switch. Sometimes we forget that certain things are actually a pretty easy fix. Most of the time, you can just replace the actual switch and turn it into a dimmer. We've done that in multiple houses that we've renovated, especially like your candlelights or your chandelier would be a good one to consider a dimmer switch. The point is, sometimes we forget ambient and task lighting, maybe, but we usually at least include a pendant over the sink. Okay, the third category is the most overlooked. This is accent lighting. I really think it is the accent lighting that creates that something extra to create that beautiful haven and that look that we want to be our kitchen, the aesthetic appeal. Accent lighting is what gives us the ability to highlight or low light a given area. So I would argue it's the ability to low light your kitchen that can especially make it show stopping. And, what does that mean? That would be, for example, let's say you're hosting a meal at Christmas time and you're trying to make it a little cozier, maybe a little romantic, whatever the case is, being able to provide low light that is accenting your kitchen in one way, shape, or form. Let me give you an example. This could be lighting that runs in your upper glass cabinets on the, along the ceiling, or maybe it is under cabinet lighting that just simply outlines the base of your upper cabinets. You could also run them along the base of your lower cabinets. You could run them along the underside of your kitchen island, the bar that hangs out. You could run them along the base of your bar. And there's a lot of ways to incorporate accent lighting that you can put on a dimmer. You can put on a separate switch. You can even put it on a timer. This is something that you need to plan ahead for. This is a little more difficult to retroactively fit in. It is possible, especially now with like twinkle lights and battery powered string lights. But if you can, get this incorporated into your kitchen renovation early, there's so many amazing accent lighting ideas that are especially show stopping. And I think really that low light is what is so pretty and really gives a kitchen a much higher end look. It's not that expensive if you plan for it ahead of time. Another fun idea actually is, I'm just now thinking of this, is to create an art niche in your kitchen wall. This goes for anywhere. I feel like little niches or like recessed areas in a wall were more common in older homes because their walls were so much thicker. But again, if you're renovating or you are thinking ahead, this can be a really, really fun little addition to your wall. And the idea is that it's this little like recess, think like shadow box. For anyone that knows what I'm talking about, it's like a box that sticks out of your wall. But in this case, consider it recessed like in the studs in your wall. This could be a really fun little addition to really make something special. You can put a piece of art in it. You could put a favorite picture. You could put a little like glass door on the front that can be opened in order to change it out and make it a seasonal decoration. You could put an antique in it, but then you could just put a little tiny light inside at the top. But there's so many fun ways to create accent lighting into a kitchen, really your entire home. But in this case, for the kitchen, be creative, think outside the box. But a wall niche is a really fun. I'm incorporating a bunch of those into our forever home because to me, it's like an old world. It's an old world delight. It sounds like the name of a restaurant or something. But the point being, you're just not really seeing it anywhere. And it could be a really, really cool statement piece in your kitchen. All right, let's move on. Mistake number 8 when renovating a kitchen is skimping on storage. Number 8, skimping on storage. I am not a professional designer by trade, but if I had to give it a shot, I would guess that this ranks at the top of the most commonly made kitchen renovation mistakes. Again, not a professional designer, but I would be willing to bet skimping on storage is up there. I think this also ties into mistake number 3, meaning that you wait to organize your kitchen cabinets until after they are installed. The simplest storage solution when replacing old cabinets is taking your upper cabinetry to the ceiling if they weren't already. That is especially common in some of the older homes. I don't even really know why, but it's like they just have that weird little soffit thing at the top. It's just dead space. If you knock on it, it's probably hollow behind it. There might be a vent or a duct, but guys, those can be rerouted. We've done it several times. You can absolutely take your cabinets up to the ceiling and install that extra run of decorative cabinets along the top to house holiday dishes or goblets or punch bowls that you infrequently use. If there's really pretty glass dishes, again, you could incorporate lighting into the top and highlight them. So another option is to make your single upper cabinet much taller. This is a great way to make your kitchen look bigger. If you have a typical 8-foot clearance from floor to ceiling, then for example, you could do 42-inch high uppers to go to the ceiling or 39-inch uppers and add 3-inch crown molding along the top to give you kind of that added flair, added height. This will give you plenty of extra storage if you did not have floor to ceiling cabinetry before. All right. Another often overlooked possibility for the standard 10 by 10 kitchen layout is an island. This leads into mistake number 9. Mistake number 9 is ignoring an island. I cannot tell you how many times I have been invited into a home or we're at friends' houses or family, and they ask me to just give them some thoughts on what I would do in their kitchen. How many times I have said, well, you could put an island in here, and they look at me like I must be seeing a different kitchen than the one that they're seeing, which the truth is I am. But the reality is a lot of people don't think they can get an island into their kitchen when in reality, you really, really can. So if you are that person, then I would say you might be surprised. Hang with me here. The bottom line is that you need 39 inches minimum of floor clearance from the base cabinet to base cabinet in order to comfortably get around your kitchen. That's 39 inches from the base to the base, not the face. Be really clear on that, not the face of it, base to base. Now, I realize that code may be different everywhere. Let me throw that in here. In my experience, that is the bottom line. You want 39 inches. I would argue as long as you can fit 39 inches of floor space around an island, and that space is no less than 2 feet deep by 2 feet wide, then you can fit an island. Kitchen island carts are typically about this size. That's also a great option if you would like to move it. But the bottom line is a lot of people try to fit more space in between their island and their other cabinets. But again, practically speaking, I have been in those massive kitchens. I don't want 42, 46, 49 inches between my cabinets because I'm a little person. I'm only 5'3". I like being able to turn around and not spill all of the junk on the dishes over all of that floor space when I'm trying to get it from the island to the sink. The point is 39 inches is absolutely enough. Does not feel too small. Every single house that I have done, that's kind of been the standard. And I have personally not had any complaints. So if one of your kitchen dream list items is an island, get out your tape measure, get out some graph paper, pencil, get creative. And again, a 2x2 foot island is basically a 24-inch wide base cabinet. All right. Base cabinets are 24 inches deep, and you can get one 24 inches wide. You put decorative paneling on the sides of it and the back to match. You can literally just create an island out of a base kitchen cabinet. So find your base cabinet options and design from there. But you may be surprised. You can probably get an island in here. And here's actually what I will say. This current house that we're in is a great example to look at. If you look at the before and after pictures, I've had multiple people say, I would have never thought to lay out this kitchen the way that you did it. I ended up putting a pretty large island in for as tiny as this house is. So if you want to take a look at that, again, all these links are on today's show notes at hammersandhugs.com. Mistake number 10 when renovating a kitchen is dismissing stone countertops. The final mistake is dismissing stone for your countertop. It is still a common misconception that natural stone countertops are only for those double island with 3 sinks kind of kitchen budgets. But the fact is, granite countertops now have become much more competitively priced. That being said, I will be honest, I have not recently priced out granite. So obviously with COVID and everything, prices seem to be up with just about any building material. But at least in my experience over these last several houses, some of these wholesale granite countertop stores are actually selling their granite countertops at the same price, if not even a little less than some of the high definition laminate countertops. So again, the key is here that I would actually Google, you could Google like wholesale countertop store or granite countertop package deal near me, because a lot of times these places will offer package deals. They might include backsplash, they might include sinks, just price compare in your area, but don't rule it out. And listen, if you are questioning whether or not you should go for like a high definition laminate over granite, I'm telling you right now, you need to go granite. You need to go stone. It will improve the value of your entire home. So definitely look for those budget countertop options. Now, I do need to make this note. Again, if you're building your forever home, I would not sacrifice your dream countertop to maximize these deals. But again, for most homes, this is the best bang for your buck, as granite countertops are definitely considered a valuable home improvement due to their longevity and quality. Again, when I renovated our first kitchen, I found a package deal that said if I bought X amount of square feet in their standard color options, I could get a stainless steel sink. I think I got a granite cutting board out of it. And I think I also got some backsplash with that deal as well. So again, Google it in your area, and just don't prematurely dismiss this as an option. I hope that these tips are helpful when you're renovating a kitchen. And again, just remember, especially number one, don't delay your dream design. I know this is such a stressful renovation, especially for us women, because we spend so much time in the kitchen. And I hope this list of mistakes, what not to do, will inspire you and help you as you work to make your kitchen a memoir of home. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Imperfectly Empowered podcast. It is my honor to be here with you. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss a show, and leave a comment with your thoughts from today's episode below. If you are listening via your preferred podcasting platform, would you help keep us on the air by rating our show and leaving an honest review of your thoughts from today? In case you haven't heard it lately, your story matters and you are loved. This is your host, Ahnafulmer, and I will see you here next time on the Imperfectly Empowered podcast.